Hey everybody! Welcome to Bliss D.O.S.E, where we dish out relationship advice with a side of laughter because let's face it, love can be messy, hilarious, and sometimes a little confusing. Ever found yourself wondering, what are they thinking after a breakup? You know, like when you bump into your ex at the grocery store and they're suddenly stocking up on favorite cereal. Well, today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of breakups. Specifically, those moments when your ex realizes they might have just maybe made a teeny tiny mistake. We're talking those light bulb moments, the second thoughts, the wait a minute, what have I done kind of realizations. Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions from those awkward run-ins and social media stalkings to the unexpected texts and the sudden flood of memories. We're going to break it all down, sprinkled with some fun facts and relatable stories. Because hey, we've all been there. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and let's get started. Welcome to Bliss D.O.S.E. Ever wondered what goes through your ex's mind when they realize the breakup was a mistake? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand it, but also learn some tricks to navigate this situation with humor and insight. All right, let's talk D.O.S.E. Now, before you go thinking I'm about to prescribe you some love potion, D.O.S.E. stands for something way more powerful and hilarious. It's an acronym for those telltale signs your ex is having second thoughts. Those little clues that scream, I messed up. We're talking about the dwelling on the past, the over-analyzing everything, the stalking your social media, and the, wait for it, exaggerated attempts to bump into you. First up, dwelling on the past. This is when your ex suddenly turns into a walking, talking scrapbook of your relationship. You know, they're reminiscing about that time you went camping and accidentally set up the tent backwards, or when you tried to make homemade pasta and ended up with a giant sticky mess. They're holding on to those memories, those funny, quirky moments that made your relationship special. Next, we've got overanalyzing everything. This is when your ex starts dissecting every text, every phone call, every single interaction you ever had. They're like relationship detectives, searching for clues, trying to piece together where it all went wrong. And trust me, they're probably kicking themselves for that awkward joke they made on your third date. You know what they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. It's like that old sweater you forgot you had in the back of your closet. You rediscover it, and suddenly it's your new favorite thing. Well, the same goes for relationships. When you're out of sight, you become a mystery, a puzzle they want to solve all over again. You see, when you're constantly around someone, it's easy to take them for granted. It's like having your favorite snack at your fingertips 24/7. Eventually, it loses its appeal. But when that snack is gone, when you have to wait for it, to crave it, that's when you realize how much you really miss it. So, if your ex is starting to realize your worth now that you're not around, it's because they're finally seeing you with fresh eyes. They're remembering all the good times, all the reasons they fell for you in the first place. This one's a classic for a reason. Remember that time you really wanted that shiny new toy, but your parents said no. You were convinced your life would be complete if you just had that toy. But then you got something else, something even better. Well, Breakups can be a bit like that. Sometimes we get so caught up in the idea of something new and exciting that we forget to appreciate what we already have. We think the grass is greener on the other side, but often it's just a different shade of green. So, if your ex is starting to realize the breakup was a mistake, it might be because they've had a chance to sample that other side of the fence, and guess what? It's not all it's cracked up to be. They're starting to miss your unique shade of green. Chapter 4, Exploring Value. Fact. 3. Comparison is the thief of joy. Here's a little secret. Social media is a highlight reel. It's like everyone's putting their best foot forward, showing off their perfect vacations, their perfect relationships, their perfectly filtered lives. But here's the thing. It's not real life. It's easy to get caught up in the comparison game, especially after a breakup. You see your ex moving on, or so it seems, and you can't help but wonder if they're happier without you. But remember, you're only seeing a tiny sliver of their life. You're not seeing the behind the scenes, the everyday struggles, the moments when they miss your goofy laugh. So if your ex is having second thoughts, it might be because they're starting to realize that those picture-perfect moments don't tell the whole story. They're remembering the genuine connection you shared, something that no amount of likes or comments can replicate. Chapter 5. Exploring Value. Fact 4. You can't turn back time. Have you ever wished you could go back in time and change something you said or did? We all have those "what was I thinking" moments. Well, breakups can be a big, giant wake-up call. They force us to confront our mistakes, to realize that we're not perfect. Sometimes it takes losing something precious to realize just how much it meant to us. It's like that favorite coffee mug you accidentally broke. You can try to glue it back together, but it'll never be quite the same. So, if your ex is realizing the breakup was a mistake, it might be because they're feeling that pang of regret, that realization that they can't turn back time. They're starting to miss the comfort, the familiarity, the love you shared. Chapter 6. Exploring Value. Fact 5. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. Breakups are tough. There's no way around it. But you know what? They can also be incredible opportunities for growth. Think of it like this. You're a caterpillar, snug and secure in your cocoon. But in order to become the best version of yourself, you have to break free to spread your wings and fly. Breakups push us outside our comfort zones. They force us to confront our fears, to learn from our mistakes, to discover our own strength and resilience. And sometimes it's only after we've gone through a period of growth that we realize we were meant to be with someone all along. So, if your ex is having second thoughts, it might be because they've gone through their own metamorphosis. They've learned from the past. They've grown as individuals. And now they're seeing you in a whole new light. Chapter 7. Exploring Value. Fact 6. Communication is key, even after a breakup. Remember that game we used to play as kids? The one where you had to guess what your friend was thinking? Yeah, well, relationships aren't like that. We can't expect our partners to be mind readers. Communication is essential in any relationship, but it's especially important after a breakup. Why? Because it's so easy to misinterpret each other's actions and words. That accidental, on an old Instagram photo? It could mean nothing, or it could mean everything. So, if your ex is sending mixed signals, it might be because they're trying to figure out how to communicate their feelings. They might be scared of rejection, unsure of how to bridge the gap. This is where open and honest communication is crucial. Chapter 8. Exploring Value. Fact 7. Forgiveness is a gift, mostly to yourself. Holding onto anger and resentment is like carrying around a heavy suitcase. It weighs you down, it holds you back, and it prevents you from moving on. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is like setting that suitcase down. It doesn't mean forgetting what happened, but it does mean choosing to let go of the pain. Now, I know what you're thinking. Forgiving your ex? Are you kidding me? But here's the thing. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of the past so you can move forward with a light heart. So, if your ex is trying to make amends, it might be because they're finally ready to forgive themselves and to ask for your forgiveness. They're acknowledging their mistakes and taking responsibility for their actions. Chapter 9. Exploring Value. Fact 8. Second chances. Don't always come with guarantees. Second chances. They're like that delicious slice of cake you just can't resist, even though you know you'll regret it later. They're tempting, they're exciting, but they also come with a healthy dose of uncertainty. Here's the thing about second chances. They're not about recreating the past. You can't simply pick up where you left off, as if nothing ever happened. Instead, they're about building something new, something stronger and more resilient, on the foundation of what you've learned. So if your ex is hoping for a second chance, it's important to remember that it's a two-way street. Are you both willing to put in the work? Have you both grown and learned from your mistakes? Chapter 10. Exploring Value. Fact 9. Sometimes you have to let go to move on. Letting go is hard. It's like saying goodbye to a part of yourself, a chapter in your life that's coming to a close. But sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes holding on does more harm than good. Remember that kite you used to fly as a kid? You held on tight, but eventually you had to let go to watch it soar high above the clouds. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care anymore. It simply means you're allowing yourself to move on, to embrace new possibilities. So if your ex is realizing the breakup was a mistake, it's important to remember that you have a choice. You can hold on to the past, or you can choose to let go and create a future filled with joy, love, and endless possibilities. Chapter 11. Exploring Value. Fact 10. Your worth isn't defined by your relationship status. You're amazing just the way you are. Don't ever forget that. Your worth isn't determined by whether or not you're in a relationship. It comes from within, from your kindness, your compassion, your unique talents and quirks. Think of yourself like a beautiful, intricate tapestry. You're made up of so many different threads: your experiences, your relationships, your passions. And while a breakup might feel like a thread has been snipped, it doesn't diminish the beauty of the entire tapestry. So, if your ex is realizing the breakup was a mistake, remember that it doesn't change your inherent worth. You are valuable, you are worthy of love, and you deserve to be with someone who recognizes and appreciates all that you are. Chapter 12. Exploring Value. Fact. 12. Trust your gut. It's usually right. You know that feeling you get deep down in your gut? That little voice that whispers words of wisdom? Yeah, that's your intuition, and it's usually right. Sometimes we ignore our intuition because it's easier to listen to logic or to what other people tell us. But when it comes to matters of the heart, it's essential to trust your gut. If something feels off, if something doesn't sit right, pay attention to those feelings. Your intuition is trying to tell you something important. So if your ex is sending mixed signals, trust your instincts. You know yourself better than anyone else. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore those red flags, no matter how much you might want to believe otherwise. Chapter 13. Exploring Value Fact. 13. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. Boundaries are like those invisible fences we set up to protect our emotional well-being. They're essential for healthy relationships, both with ourselves and with others. Setting boundaries means knowing what you will and will not tolerate. And it means communicating those limits clearly and respectfully. It's easy to let our boundaries slip, especially when we're feeling vulnerable or insecure. But remember, you deserve to be treated with respect, even if your ex is having second thoughts. So if your ex is trying to re-enter your life, don't be afraid to set clear boundaries. What are you comfortable with? What are your non-negotiables? Communicate those boundaries clearly and stick to them. Chapter 14. Exploring Value. Fact 14. Focus on your own happiness. Here's a radical thought. Your happiness is your responsibility. It's not your ex's job to make you happy. And it's not fair to put that pressure on them. You have the power to create your own happiness, regardless of your relationship status. Think of it like this. You're the artist of your own life. You get to choose the colors, the textures, the composition. You have the power to paint a masterpiece filled with joy, love, and fulfillment. So if your ex is realizing the breakup was a mistake, remember that your happiness shouldn't depend on their actions. Focus on yourself, on your own goals and dreams. Pursue your passions, nurture your relationships, and create a life that brings you joy. Chapter 15. Exploring Value. Fact 15. Love yourself first. This is the most important value fact of all. You can't truly love another person until you love yourself. It's like trying to fill someone else's cup when yours is empty. Self-love is the foundation for all other love. It's about accepting yourself, flaws and all, and treating yourself with kindness, compassion, and respect. Think of yourself like a garden. You need to water it, nurture it, and tend to it with care. You deserve the same love and attention you so freely give to others. So if your ex is realizing the breakup was a mistake, remember that it all starts with you. Love yourself, embrace your worth, and know that you deserve a love that is true, authentic, and fulfilling. So, there you have it. Nostalgia, reality checks, and unique quirks. Master these, and you're on your way to understanding when your ex realizes the breakup was a mistake, or at least fewer awkward encounters. Remember, breakups are a part of life. They're messy, they're complicated, and they can teach us a lot about ourselves. And now, as promised, here's the secret trick. End every interaction, whether it's a date or a regular day, with a positive note. Here's how. Share a funny story or joke. Laughter breaks the ice and creates memorable moments. Express appreciation. Simple gestures can go a long way. Set a positive expectation. Look forward to shared experiences. Active listening follow-up. Show genuine interest in what they say. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more hilarious yet insightful tips on relationships and self-improvement. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these tips and stories, please subscribe to Bliss D.O.S.E. It's the only thing I ask. Stay blissful, and remember, love always finds its way back.